Greetings, kids! Chris from Chris Country here. It's time for Nostalgia Wednesday. This is episode number 4. Hey, if it's your birthday this week, happy birthday from Chris Country. Alright, let's get to the meat and bones of this little dealio, shall we? Just in case, for those of you who don't know, Nostalgia Wednesday, I basically use this video to kind of just take a look at some interesting things that happened this week in history. I try not to go back too far. The farthest I typically go back is to news items from like the 60s, if they're of interest to me. And also I like to take a look at what was number 1 on the Hot Country charts and the Hot 100 charts 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, and on occasion 25 years ago. Alright, now that introduction's done, let's get to the meat and bones. This week in history, July 17th. Back in 1975, the Apollo-Soyuz Test Project docked today. This was the first international space mission between the United States and the then Soviet Union. It was just basically a flight where the two spacecraft for the two nations docked together. They were docked for about a day and conducted science experiments for the most part, and then undocked and came back home. And it was a good mission. That both the Soviet Union and NASA considered it a success, and it was kind of a pioneering mission, if you will. It laid the foundation for the Mir Space Station cooperation, and ultimately the International Space Station, I feel. Anyway, continuing on. Today, back in 1996, TWA-800, the 747, exploded off of the coast of Long Island. I was younger at the time, but I still remember a lot of the aftermath, a lot of the news conferences, the investigation, stuff like that. But it's not one of those things that you remember what you were doing when you heard in the news, but it's one of those things you still remember. Anywho, continuing on. July 18th of 1968, Intel was founded. And moving on to July 20th, in 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the moon, which, as we all know, was the first moon landing. And last but not least, July 20th of 1976, Viking 1 lands on Mars, our first truly successful unmanned Mars landing program. Or mission, I should say. Alright, time to go into the charts. Let's go ahead and look at the Hot Country chart first off, of course. 1 year ago, the number 1 was Brantley Gilbert. You don't know her like I do. 5 years ago, the number 1 was Blake Shelton's Home. My wife Stephanie and I actually both really like that song. 10 years ago, Toby Keith featuring Willie Nelson, Beer for My Horses. On the Hot Country chart, Beer for My Horses was number 1 for its 6th and final week this week. 15 years ago, the number 1 was I Can Still Feel You by Colin Ray. And 20 years ago, Stephanie's favorite song, Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson. Really good summer song. Alright, over to your pop charts. By the way, just a spoiler alert, all of the songs on here are repeats. Basically, they were number 1 last week. And in some cases, number 1 for a while by now. But anyway, still going to read them off. 1 year ago, Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe. It was at its 4th week by now. 5 years ago, Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl was at its 3rd week. 10 years ago, Beyonce featuring Jay-Z, Crazy in Love, was at its 2nd week. 15 years ago, This Boy Is Mine by Brandy and Monica was now at its 7th week. Yes, I said 7th. I didn't think songs could stay number 1 for that long in the pop industry, but hey. And last but not least, 20 years ago, SMV's Week was at its 2nd and final week. So there's your country and pop charts for you, my dear friends. As always, I am Chris for Chris Country. Thank you for watching the video and putting up with me kind of having an entertainment rant. Anywho's, feel free to visit my Facebook page, Chris Country, or of course, as I always say, You can rate, comment, and subscribe to any of my YouTube channels here on my channel. I hope you all have a wonderful day, night, weekend, week, whatever time it is that you happen to be viewing this video. And we will see you all on the next video. Catch you later.